Okay, let's try out a couple of new stuff that will get our creativity to 15. Today was so much fun. I never knew our city had so many interesting attractions. I made it all the way to the top of the mountain. The view is amazing. So many ideas were coming to me, it was hard to capture them all on paper. I haven't felt that inspired in a while. Greatest poem ever. And I tweaked the decorations. Great. I think I'll go back to my romance stats. Okay, so I need 3. 1, 2, 3. And then diligence of 31. So that's ice cream parlor. Or 31, yes. And then to the theater we go. Okay. Reinvigorating. It's hard work, but it makes me happy to work alongside my husband. Aw, so cute. You seen? I drizzle olive oil over the freshly popped popcorn, then sprinkle it with a little salt. You supposedly crave salty foods when you have elevated levels of cortisol, the stress hormone in your system. This definitely proves true with me and Lawrence, so we always unwind with individual bowls in front of the TV after a stressful day at the shop. And hey, it's low in calories, and I'm tossing it in olive oil instead of butter, so I don't even have to feel that guilty about it. Good girl. I carry the larger bowl full of popcorn in my right hand and a smaller empty bowl into his. I'm not sure why Lawrence likes to have an individual bowl. It bothered me at first, and when I asked him about it, he said he didn't like sharing a bowl because our hands might touch. That's kind of what I figured. Bogus excuse aside, I've learned to live with it. My husband is just eccentric, I tell myself. Lawrence mans the remote, flipping casually through the many late-night infomercials, 90s reruns, and talk shows. As he's browsing, I see one of my favorite actors being interviewed. Stop, stop! What? I saw Brian Gosling! Go back! Sure. He skips back a couple of channels until he lands on the right one. Brian is promoting his new movie, an avant-garde romance about a married couple that each fall for different people. Ooh. According to Gosling, the couple still love each other, so rather than get divorced, they transition into an open relationship. The talk show host, although appearing a bit uneasy, still applauds the film for attempting to popularize a new romantic dynamic. They play a clip from the movie, which features Gosling and his on-screen wife discussing their arrangement prior to Gosling going out with his girlfriend. His wife in the movie is much older than him, appearing to be in her mid-50s, and encourages Gosling to seek sexual fulfillment elsewhere. She knows that she can't keep up with his young libido, she elaborates, but she knows that regardless of who he's with, he'll always love her the most. She also desires to be with other men closer to her age, apparently, and Gosling in turn supports and encourages her promiscuity. Wait, she can't keep up with a younger man's libido, but she desires to be with a whole bunch of other... That doesn't make any sense. Lawrence and I are uncomfortably silent through the whole thing until I finally feel compelled to pipe up. You can, change it. I like Brian Gosling, but I didn't realize his new movie was so... different. However, rather than changing the channel, Lawrence continues to peer at the screen. Is he actually interested in this? That seems a little out of character. I follow suit and turn my attention back to the TV. Now Gosling is talking about how it's possible to achieve physical intimacy with multiple women, yet still only be emotionally and intellectually intimate with one. Don't you get any ideas, mister? Physical intimacy is human need, but when you love someone and they cannot provide that intimacy, yet they fulfill you on other levels, you seek it elsewhere. Oh, is he thinking, Amy's gone somewhere else? Gosling and the talk show host go back and forth about the lifestyle and how it's becoming more socially acceptable. I glance over at Lawrence, trying to read his expression. Why is he so interested in this? Suddenly he speaks up. Amy? Yes? Have you ever... do you ever feel the need to, be with someone else? Because I know I haven't been good about filling certain, needs. And you've been very patient with me, thank you for that. But sometimes I wonder about if I'm hurting you. His brown eyes brim with uncertainty as he awaits some sort of answer from me. Poor sweetheart. This isn't a joking matter for him. I mean, you have nothing to lie about. You might as well answer him honestly. It has been difficult, and Lawrence needs to know that. This isn't an attempt to pressure him. It's just that honesty is an important facet of marriage. He deserves to know what I'm going through. Lawrence, my desires aren't so base. I love you just the way you are. If I weren't cool with the whole celibacy thing, I would have divorced you or something. I knew going into this marriage that you weren't, experienced. But there's so much more to life in marriage than that physical element. And while I do look forward to the fun we'll have, I'm totally fine with waiting until you feel comfortable. It would be unbelievably selfish of me if I weren't, and that would mean that I love myself more than I do you. Which is not true, of course. I smile at him reassuringly, and he shoots back with a sheepish grin, clearly pleased with my answer. I pause, slightly hesitant, but determined nonetheless to voice a question that's been nagging me. Why are you so hesitant anyway? Like, is it personal? Religious? I just don't get it. I mean, we're married now, so I figured... Lawrence cuts me off abruptly, speaking quickly and with a level tone. I don't want to talk about it. Is it performance anxiety? Because everyone sucks their first time. I don't have high expectations, honest. I said I don't want to talk about it. His voice is forceful and carries more weight this time, despite breaking occasionally. I'm caught off guard by his unusually cold attitude, prompting me to obey his request. Okay, but if you ever do want to talk about it, I'm here. Uh-huh. I notice his jaw tighten and quiver slightly. I'm scared. I'm worried about this. Then he abruptly stands, mentions that he's tired, and retreats to the bedroom. I frown and exhale deeply. So much for having a real conversation. I quickly clean up the popcorn, dumping what's left over in the trash, and then place the soiled bowls in the sink. Forget it, I'll just clean them tomorrow morning. I feel so emotionally drained from our exchange. All I want to do right now is faceplant my pillow. I enter the bedroom and close the door gently so as not to disturb Lawrence. After I complete my brief bedtime routine and finally crawl into the sweet embrace of my bed, I find that I have difficulty going to sleep. The body is willing, but my mind is too consumed with worry to allow me to rest. Is this really a temporary problem? Will Lawrence ever change? I mean, he's not even to the point where he can talk about it. How long until he recovers from this, if ever? What hurts the most is that I know he's keeping something from me, something he refuses to reveal even to his own wife. A marriage cannot stand on secrets. How much longer can this go on before our marriage crumbles completely? At first I figured he was hesitant and unwilling to talk about it because he was shy, but I feel like it's beyond that point now. He has a real problem and he refuses to let me help. If it isn't resolved soon and this tension continues to linger between us, then I don't see how we can have much of a future together. Maybe it's time to start considering the possibility of divorce. Oof, girl, already? We're only on week 18! I dumped water all over my shirt. And I mean like an actual glass of water, not my tears. Lawrence, you're so sweet. What's going on? Oh, no. Well, things might be going to bad for us soon. I don't know. I don't know if I'm on the right track. It's so sad. I just want you guys to figure it out, but something serious is in Lawrence's mind. I wonder what it is. Sorry, Lawrence, I got your goal up to 100 now, and I have to just work on your culture. Alright, I key the customer's order into the machine and wait patiently as their receipt prints. Once the machine spits it out, I tear it off and hand it to the happy family, wishing them a good day as they exit the shop. It's a hot one today, nearing triple digits according to my weather app. With the sky completely devoid of clouds and the sun beating down mercilessly, it seems everyone's appetite has been whet for a cold, sweet treat. We've seemed to have had a steady line all day, or at least throughout most of the day. Even during times when we'd usually be slow, we've had a couple of customers as opposed to the usual 0. I smile faintly. Even though busy days are hard on the nerves, it's great for our checkbook. Don't think about the fact that you won't get a break today, Amy. Instead, think about the bottle of wine you're going to buy with a portion of today's profits. Yes, that's it. Shadow boy. As I'm entering the next customer's order into our POS system, I spy a little boy outside pressing his face against the glass. Ice cream. I smile at the heartwarming sight, despite knowing that I've now got to clean the glass during our next long customers. Oh, it's that same parent. He smiles back at me for a second until his father yanks his arm with such force that it nearly sends the boy spinning. The man angrily spouts off a few words, although I cannot hear them through the glass. Reading his lips, though, I'd say that they're words one shouldn't be using in front of a child. I shoot Lawrence a glance and see that he's noticed the boy and his father, too. He looks paler than usual, but continues scooping out ice cream in order to move the line along. Finally, after much pleading, it seems, the man enters the shop with his son. Usually families that enter wear joyous expressions. A trip to the ice cream shop is a celebration, such as a reward for good grades, or sometimes just an impromptu treat. However, this man wears one of the sourest expressions I've ever seen. It contrasts starkly next to his son's wide eyes and large grin. I tear my attention away from the pair and focus again on moving the line along. Several customers later, the man and his son finally arrive at the front counter display case. Though the boy excitedly squirms as if he's been waiting a century, in reality it's only been 10 minutes or so. Before Lawrence can ask, the boy shouts his order. "A birthday quick waffle cone, please." I frown, sensing Lawrence's distress. We sold out of birthday cake ice cream this morning. It's one of our more popular flavors.
I'm sorry, but we're out of that one.
Lawrence pulls the empty container out of the display case and tilts it so that the boy can see inside.
Did you have another flavor that you wanted?
The boy bites his lip. He clearly didn't see this coming. Oh no. His expression seems to beg the question, if one can't have birthday cake ice cream, then what's the point? Lawrence decides to help him out a bit.
Do you like chocolate chip cookie dough?
The boy nods shyly.
We have a vanilla ice cream with cookie dough bits in it. Would you like that instead?
He hesitates for a moment, then nods ecstatically. Relieved that the boy found another suitable flavor, Lawrence quickly plops the scoop onto a waffle cone and stretches it out towards the boy. He takes it from Lawrence and brings the cone to his mouth. Oh no. However, the boy tilts the cone at an awkward angle, so the scoop of ice cream falls and splatters on the ground. Oh! What the hell is wrong with you? Almost immediately, his father wallops him on the back of the head. Sheesh, I'm kind of wondering if Lawrence has a similar relationship with his dad before or something. I don't know, but oh gosh, that made me sick. The loud thud that the blow makes seems to echo throughout the parlor as Lawrence and I gape at the scene in silent shock.
What the hell is wrong with you? Are you retarded or something?
Oh no, he didn't. I'm not sure what I should do, but I do know that something must be done. I don't care that it's not my child. I will not allow someone to treat a kid like that in my store. I turn towards Lawrence expectantly, wearing an urgent countenance as anger rises within me. His expression does not match mine, however. Instead, he seems petrified. Yeah, he's back in the past, girl. His eyes are glazed over as if he's disconnected from the moment, and his breathing has turned shallow and unsteady, halting intermittently. The sight of him is enough to send shivers down my spine. I've never seen him like this before, and I'm unsure what to do. We gotta get him back from that place. Lawrence! I don't know what's gotten into Lawrence, but he needs to snap out of it. Lawrence! I growl at him through gritted teeth from behind the counter. Do something! However, he simply responds through halted whispers.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Please.
Oh gosh, Lawrence, you're making me cry. I furrow my brow. Why is Lawrence apologizing? Same reason he did before. I move towards Lawrence and place my hands on his shoulders, intending to shake him, but he recoils at my touch. Whatever I did seems to have solved the problem, though. Light immediately fills his eyes again and his breathing stabilizes. The rage that previously graced my face now manifests itself on his. He turns and yells at the man, something I've never seen him do before.
How dare you treat a child like that? Don't you realize the repercussions it might have?
The man stares wide-eyed at him, his mouth hinged open in bewilderment. Unsure what to do, he turns to leave, grabbing his son by the hand.
Wait.
Lawrence quickly makes the boy another cone and carefully hands it to him before returning his attention back to the man.
Apologize to your son for being a worthless father.
The man obeys, sputtering out a terrified apology. Yeah, you're only tough when it's kids that can't fight back, eh?
Good. Now get the hell out of my shop before I call the authorities, you disgusting animal.
The man sheepishly grabs his son and scurries out of the shop, thoroughly humiliated. After a few moments, Lawrence regains his composure and seems to return to his usual self, leaving me to wonder. What on earth came over Lawrence to cause him to act in such an uncharacteristic way? After a long and stressful day, closing time has finally come. Lawrence locks the front door and switches off the open sign, while I, on the other hand, untuck my shirt and let out a heavy sigh. Finally.
Yeah.
It was quite a long day.
I'm eager to count the register. I wonder how much we did in sales today.
By long, I actually meant stressful.
Oh.
Now that we're alone, it occurs to me that I can ask about the situation before. Hold on a second, my phone's being weird. There we go. Lawrence, about what happened earlier. Okay, before we go further into this, I'm kind of theorizing now that the reason Lawrence doesn't want to do the deed is he's actually terrified of conceptualizing a child with Amy and being as bad of a father as his father was to him. And treating Amy the way that maybe his father treated his mom. Possibly, I don't know. That's my theory. We'll see. Remember the guy who hit his son? Lawrence shivers at the mention, but reluctantly nods. What happened to you back there? I've never seen you like that. It's like you were frozen or something. He pauses, taking a moment to choose his words before answering.
I remembered something. Something I don't like to think about. I had almost forgotten about it. And then I just got really mad.
Yeah, you really went off on the guy.
I was probably a little harsh.
Don't feel bad. Sometimes bullies deserve a taste of their own medicine. It makes them realize how they make others feel.
I guess.
We stand silently for a moment, our eyes averted from each other until I speak again. Lawrence, was your father abusive? Lawrence continues to stare at the ground, his face expressionless. Eventually, he whispers his answer.
He would hit me sometimes, yes. That man actually kind of reminded me of my dad, which is why well...
His voice trails off. Ah, my heart! It's breaking! Girl! I move towards him with my arms out, prepared to give him a comforting hug. Instead, Lawrence sidesteps me and grabs the broom, then begins sweeping.
I want to go home, and we can't leave until we finish closing.
Right. Try as I might, I can't hide the hurt from my voice. Why did Lawrence reject my hug? Why is he still hesitant to open up to me? I mean, we're married, for crying out loud. It brings up a lot of bad memories, though, girl. Memories that you'd rather, not think about if you can help it. It's not a rejection of you. As I grab a rag and a spray bottle of window cleaner, I wonder if Lawrence might benefit from seeing a therapist. Maybe his past has something to do with his intimacy problems. I might be overstepping my bounds, but I genuinely feel that he would be happier if he talked about it. You know, got it all out in the open? Then we could tackle the problem together. As the night goes on, the idea of scheduling a psychiatrist appointment for Lawrence becomes more and more appealing and viable an option. Now, if only I could get him to agree. Yeah, that is a whole other can of worms, though, girl. Yee. Yeah. I mean, yes, he does need to face those problems and talk about it, but that is not pleasant by any description. Poor Lawrence. Oh. C9. Oh, we're at the hospital? I swear if Eddie's the psychiatrist.
This is stupid.
Lawrence crosses his arms as he apprehensively taps his foot against the hard tile. I'll admit, it is an unconventional approach. However, this issue has become a real stumbling block in our marriage. I don't know what else to try. I snatch my purse off of the waiting room table and pull out my phone, pretending to have received a text message. Anything to derail this conversation. After much of my prying, Lawrence still couldn't figure out why he's so adverse to, you know. So I finally convinced him to visit a specialist. I read online that this clinic specializes in RMT, or recovered memory therapy, and that repressed memories can often cause seemingly unexplainable problems in adulthood. These memories must be recovered in order for patients to regain their mental health. I explained all of this to Lawrence, who was, and still is, very against the idea, but he reluctantly agreed after realizing how much distress this whole thing is causing me. I spent many sleepless nights browsing the internet, scouring old books, and even praying about the issue. I just want a diagnosis so we can tackle treatment options, because how can you fix a problem if you don't know what's causing it? It's better to take on the root versus just treating symptoms. Suddenly, we hear the door to the therapist's office creak open. Lawrence and I both look up expectantly to see... Eddie, my love! You're a therapist, of course you are.
Amy? Lawrence? Are you two my 1015 patients?
Eddie? But we scheduled an appointment with Dr. Franklin.
He's on vacation. I'm filling in for him.
Oh. Lawrence eyes the two of us curiously, sensing the thick tension in the air.
We all said a thing.
Eddie was Aaron's, my former boyfriend's doctor, when he was hospitalized after the motorcycle accident. We kinda had this love-hate thing going on. Or maybe it was just hate-hate. I could never tell. The point is, he kinda gets on my nerves.
I've got other appointments after this, so let's begin.
Oh, you still live in your house? Why did we move from this house into an apartment in your route? I don't understand. Wait, this is his office? Nah. Nah. This wouldn't even fit in a hospital. Get out of here. He gestures towards the office and Lawrence and I timidly enter. As we look around, we see the usual staples. The therapist's desk. Oh, pardon me. Let me just drink some water. The therapist's desk, a few chairs, and the always seen on TV oblong couch. I take my place in one of the chairs, while Lawrence sits on the edge of the uncomfortable couch looking unusually tense. Should we even be in here? Yeah.
Normally these types of appointments are done alone, with just the patient and the doctor.
But Lawrence and I are doing this together because we're partners. As such, we take on our problems together.
Okay, then.
Eddie doesn't attempt to mask the irritation in his voice. I don't think he likes being interrupted.
Let's start off with a few simple questions. What brings you here today?
Lawrence blushes and looks to me for support. I never thought we'd be discussing our bedroom problems with Eddie. Oh gosh, this is karma. Maybe this was a bad idea after all.
We've had problems, or rather I've had problems with, consummating.
Lawrence's voice trails off, and his eyes are glued to the floor for the duration of his response. Why is Eddie so blunt and an asshole and all the other roots? I don't understand.
Wait, you mean you guys haven't had sex?
It apparently takes more effort than Eddie can manage to stifle a chuckle. Eddie!
How long have you two been married again?
Gee, some bedside manner you have. Eddie grins. That's a terrible joke.
More than you two have.
You know, I can file a patient lawsuit. Insensitivity is considered malpractice.
I digress. Let's get back to the questions. What about your parents? Can you describe them for me? Sure. My mom was very busy. She liked to stay involved at church, the PTA, homeowners association, and when she was at home. Made sure I did my homework, went to bed on time, said my prayers. Commanding and possessive. Overbearing.
Eddie murmurs aloud as he takes notes.
Hey, my mom wasn't... And your father? Tell me about him.
Eddie interrupts Lawrence's vehement defense without batting an eyelash. Apparently it's not okay to interrupt Eddie, but he's allowed to interrupt others as he sees fit. So, Eddie's a hypocritical jerk with an ego the size of Canada? Check. Hey, that's an insult to Canada.
My dad, I honestly don't really have many memories of him. Did he die? No. Are your parents divorced? Yes. When did they get divorced? A few years ago. So he was present during your childhood, yet you don't remember much about him. He was pretty distant. We never had a great relationship. Was he abusive in any way?
Lawrence pauses, wincing for a moment, then responds.
Yeah. I remember him beating me, but it only happened a few times. It wasn't a constant, ongoing thing. I don't think that's what's causing my problem, though. I mean, why would that make me averse to, consummating, you know?
Eddie takes a moment to reflect, then continues.
Is it ever difficult to allow yourself to be touched? Even by Amy? I guess. Sometimes. Sometimes it reminds me of... But not all of the time. What does touch feel like when it does remind you? Do you just have flashbacks, or is there a physical sensation also? Sometimes I have flashbacks. It mostly just stings, though, as if I've just been hit or slapped.
Eddie takes a few seconds to scribble down more notes, then types something into his smartphone. Are you Googling his symptoms?
No, of course not. And it sounds like you have a case of haptophobia, Lawrence.
You just read that off of your phone, didn't you? Ignoring you.
Haptophobia is essentially the fear of touch, and it can certainly interfere with intimacy, but it's a rare condition usually caused by severe abuse. And fine, I did Google it, but it's a very uncommon condition. I'm not expected to remember every obscure mental abnormality, am I?
Yes, you are.
Now, I want to delve deeper into the abuse you suffered. It could be that there's more there that you've repressed that's fueling your haptophobia. Do you recall why your father hit you? I don't know. Because he was mad? But why was he mad? I don't know. Did you, for example, get a bad grade? Perform poorly in extracurricular activities? Was he in a bad mood for some reason? Was there marital stress? Tension at work? I don't know.
Lawrence breathes heavily, thoroughly winded from the process. Red-eyed, Lawrence hunches over on the couch.
Okay, let's try a different approach. With your permission, I'd like to try hypnotic age regression. It will help take pressure off of you, and I think it will be easier to unlock possible hidden memories.
Lawrence nods reluctantly, then Eddie begins. You didn't really think of it about it all that long, dude. He asks Lawrence to relax, close his eyes, and breathe deeply. He asks him to perform many mundane mental tasks, focusing on different parts of his body as he meditates, recalling annual holidays backwards, etc. Eddie even lifts Lawrence's hand and drops it a few times, giving Lawrence full warning beforehand.
Lawrence, you're going to recall an event that contributed to your haptophobia. When I snap my fingers, you're going to recall that event. You want it to happen. You believe it will happen.
Eddie snaps, and as if on cue, Lawrence's face contorts into one of pain. There's light on him. His breathing transitions from serene to quick and labored.
Get a sense of where you are. Now tell me, are you inside or outside? Inside.
Lawrence responds in a slightly higher voice than his usual speaking voice. It carries an innocent, almost angelic tone. Oh, something's fading in from the right.
Are you alone or with people? Alone. How do you feel? I hurt. It hurts. I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? I did something I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. Why does it hurt? Did you hurt yourself, or did someone else hurt you? Someone else. I was punished. And why were you punished? I saw something. I was supposed to be outside, but... What did you see, Lawrence? What happened? I was outside playing at my friend's house. I was supposed to be sleeping over. But I didn't want to stay, so I came home early. When I came inside, I heard noises.
Oh no, did you see your dad sleeping around with somebody?
What did you hear? People. It sounded like they were in pain. I was scared. I went to look for them. It was coming from my parents' bedroom.
Oh no.
But when I opened the door, it was my dad with some lady I didn't know. I didn't know what they were doing, but they were naked. And what happened next? My dad got up and hit me. He hit me a lot. And then he grabbed my shirt collar and dragged me to my room. He hit me again and told me not to tell anyone, and then he locked me inside. And now, I'm in my bedroom, waiting for Mom to come home, to let me out. I'm sorry. Sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to. Nice work today, Lawrence. Now when I snap my fingers, you'll return to your present self. And when you return, you'll remember this memory clearly, as if it happened yesterday.
Eddie snaps his fingers, but Lawrence remains in the same state. Tears begin to roll down his pale cheeks, and he sniffles pathetically. Eddie snaps again, still to no avail. Oh no.
I don't understand. Why isn't he snapping out of it?
Alarmed and unsure what to do, Eddie looks to me. Okay, don't touch him. Talk to him. I'm pretty sure that's what I should do. Yeah. Remembering what Eddie said about Lawrence's abhorrence to touch, I decided that it would be better to simply speak to him, despite wanting to reach out and wrap him in my arms. Lawrence, it's okay. I'm here.
Who are you?
My name is Amy. And I pause and reconsider. Maybe I shouldn't tell a child that I'm his future wife. He's already a little freaked out, and that would no doubt add to it. I'm, your guardian angel.
You are?
I'm always watching over you, and I'm always with you, even though you can't see me. I want you to know that no matter what happens, you're never alone. I look over at Eddie, waiting for some sort of response. I don't want to mess with his therapy, but at the same time, he didn't seem to be doing a good job of it anyhow. How does a doctor hypnotize a patient without being able to bring them back anyway? What a hack. In between his furious note-taking, Eddie waves his hand, giving me the go-ahead to keep talking. I don't want you to ever be scared. I'm here. I love you, and I'll protect you. Eddie and I wait with bated breath for some sort of answer. Finally, it comes.
Thank you. I actually feel kind of better.
You should feel better. Because when you grow up, you're going to be so happy. Your life will be awesome. And you'll have a great wife who's beautiful and caring and is a great writer despite the fact that literary agents won't respond to her emails. Eddie slaps my arm, signifying that I've gone too far. Shut up. But yeah, don't worry, be happy and stuff. I look to Eddie for help, scared, unsure what to do next. He snaps his fingers, and this time Lawrence is able to come out of the trance. He blinks a few times, his eyes bloodshot, something that Eddie later told us was a common side effect of hypnotism. Yeah, I love that you didn't discuss side effects at all before we did this. Eddie abruptly excuses himself, saying that he'll give Lawrence some time to process what just happened. In actuality, he's probably stepping into the hallway to Google what he should say to us next. Damn. Get shit on, Eddie. Lawrence, I had no idea.
Neither did I. Well, I guess I must have had some idea, but you know what I mean. Thank you for, well, everything. I wouldn't have come here if you hadn't made me, and then...
You don't have to thank me. I want to help you get better in any way that I can. Lawrence is able to muster a small smile.
You know, you really are like my guardian angel.
Aww, that was so cute. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad that worked out so quickly, too, but whew. No wonder we got problems. Yay.